I'm going to invite Maura to introduce herself and to make a few comments, but in doing so, may I please express the thanks of all of us to the Bar Council for sponsoring this event, which they have kindly done. The Law Society is sponsoring our other fringe on Tuesday. It's not the Bar Council's fault that the room is so hard to find or that it isn't quite big enough. We're very grateful to you, Maura, for that, and we're looking forward to hearing what you've got to say.
Thank you, Stephen. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Maura McGowan. I'm Chair of the Bar Council this year. Apart from this year, I'm a criminal practitioner. And so a lot of the changes that are happening at the moment, I don't deal with simply academically. I see them on a daily basis in my practice. I think the change that we see now is not the same as the problems we've seen in the past. I mean, like Emily, I started practice in the 80s, and governments of all shades have cut fees, have changed things, and it's always been the end of the world. I accept that we've perhaps been guilty of crying wolf too often. But this is different, because this just isn't cutting fees or moving things slightly. These are fundamental changes. People's rights are being removed. It's not just that lawyers will be paid less for doing the case, however much of a personal tragedy I may find that. If you land in this country from overseas, you are immediately liable to prosecution if you commit a crime, or to being sued if you do a civil wrong to the government or somebody else. Those responsibilities fall on you the minute you set foot. Under the current plans, you will not have any of the benefits of being able to exercise your rights in response or by way of administrative review for 12 months. Now, leaving money to one side, how can it be fair to impose responsibilities and duties on people, and yet at the same time as a state not give them the benefit of being able to exercise their rights? And it's changes like that that I think are so fundamental. In the last 6-12 months, we have seen the removal of legal aid entirely from people who want to bring a case to court to fight over whether their children should live with them or their former partner. That's not a trivial thing. That's not the government as they have saying, well, we're not going to spend public money arguing over whether the child spends 4 hours on a Saturday with dad or 3 hours on a Saturday with dad. This is where the child lives. This is whether you can argue about the proper nature of your housing, the security of your employment, the sort of thing that since the establishment of the welfare state, we all took for granted, and we were right to take it for granted. Those are fundamental rights which need to be protected. And so we see that as the current state of affairs. We look to the future. We hope that if there is a better economic climate ahead, there will be better times. But we look also to the Labour administration for the undertaking that after the next general election, if there is a Labour government, LASPO will be reversed. Some of the more appalling changes that are working their way through the pipeline now will be reversed. And on an entirely separate note, can I simply correct Sadiq? The Bar Council has not agreed to Mr. Growling's plans. That's not to say we're going to win the battle, but we are still fighting the battle.